Hello grade 7s, I hope you all are well, staying safe, staying indoors and staying warm now that winter's coming. I hope none of you catch the flu with this COVID going around because with the sneezes and the sniffles people might think you're one of the infected. So in today's lesson we'll be going over acid-base indicators, and you can find this on page 104 of the textbook. So what are indicators? Indicators tell us something. So for example, if we're on the road, the robot will indicate what we need to do. If it's red, it tells us to stop. Green tells us to go. And orange or amber tells us to yield or stop. So similarly with people, we have all kinds of emotions going on inside us, and we indicate these emotions by means of facial expressions. So for example, if we're happy, we have an open body language and a smile. If we're sad, closed body language and a frown. For acids and bases, we need indicators to tell us their nature. We can't go testing this out using our bodies. We can't drink acid to taste whether it's sour. We can't put it on our skin to test whether it's corrosive. So what we use is litmus paper as the indicator. Red litmus paper for testing acids and blue litmus paper for testing bases. So red litmus paper is used for testing a base. If we put it into an acid, it doesn't show any change, it stays red. If we put it into a neutral, also doesn't show any change, stays red. And it's only when we put it into a base that it changes color to blue. So an easy way to remember this is to maybe think of acids as being angry and red, and blue as being basic, B for basic. So now let's talk about blue litmus paper. Blue litmus is used for testing for an acid. So if we take this blue litmus and put it into a base, there's no acid present, so there's no color change. It stays as blue. Similarly, if we put it into a neutral, there's no acid present, so no color change, and it stays as blue. It's only when we put the blue litmus into an acid that it changes to red, to indicate that an acid is present. So remember, blue litmus is for testing for an acid. Okay, so that covers that for the theory for the section. I don't think we need to go into much greater detail. And now I'd like to do some questions with you guys. So this is activity 11 on page 107, and the heading is identify the unknown substances. So now we're kind of getting into the science of the natural science. So question 1, what is an indicator? These questions are really easy. You can just refer to the keywords in your textbook. It says here, indicators are dyes that change colors in acids and bases. Okay, easy enough. That's all you need to put. Question 2, which substance A or B shown in figure 17 is an acid? So here I would say A is the acid because the blue litmus paper changed to red and the red litmus paper stayed the same. So remember, red litmus paper is testing for a base. So if we put it into an acid, nothing happens. And the blue litmus paper is testing for an acid. So if we put it into an acid, it changes to red. So question 3, give a reason for your answer to question 2. I kind of just did, so let's move on. Question 4, which substance A or B shown in figure 17 is an alkali? So B is the alkali. This is because the red litmus paper testing for a base changed color to blue, and the blue litmus paper stayed the same. So remember, blue litmus paper is testing for an acid, so if we put it into a base, it doesn't change color. And lastly, question 6, this is an interesting question. It says, explain why it is necessary to test unknown substances with both red and blue litmus paper. So it might be tempting to think, if we just use, to save on paper, save the trees, we might just use red litmus paper, for example. So if we put red litmus paper into an acid, it stays the same color. If we put it into a base, it changes blue. So why do we need to use the blue litmus paper? Well, the reason is because if we put the red litmus paper into a substance and it didn't change color, it could be one of two things. Remember, it could be acidic or neutral. So we need to put the other piece of paper in blue to confirm that it's an acid. Okay, if we put red litmus paper into a neutral and blue litmus paper into a neutral, they would both have the color unchanged and we'd identify neutral. So that concludes that for this lesson. I hope you guys understood the theory and the questions, and I'm not going to give any more homework on this. I think I've already given you the revision exercise for acids and bases, and next up we'll be moving on to the periodic table of elements.